All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. My name is Eric Polzin. You can follow me at 905 Sports. Going to be breaking down this small two-game slate. And with that, I did want to wait until the ownership or the projected ownerships came out because I wanted to give you guys some more information on the slate because it is a smaller slate, and that could matter on this slate more so than it does on a typical night. Okay, so just a reminder, if you guys enjoy this coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. That does help us be able to help you guys out, helps us be able to put out more content. If you guys like any of the tools that you see in this video, you can get access to that by becoming a member. Click one of the links in the description below, as well as the Discord chat, which is live before lock, gives you that slate breaking news and actionable information off of that you need to have a successful or hopefully successful NBA DFS slate. So now without further ado, guys, let's get into breaking down this slate. All right, so looking at it, we know Cole Anthony going to be out. DiVincenzo's been out for a while, so has Fultz. I mean, like, no big changes in most of the players that are out. Those are kind of expected. No game time decisions just yet. So at least there's not any like big injury news that we have to wait for and whatnot. But I will say there is some injury situations in which we need to monitor. Okay, Josh Giddey came back last week or last game and scored like 20 DK points in the first like quarter and a half pretty much. And then his minutes were restricted and he only ended up playing like 25 minutes. So if he got the full 30 minutes or 35 minutes or so, easily smashes. Okay, so if we get news that Josh Giddey, his minutes aren't going to be restricted, he'd be a good play. Okay, but that's part of the difficult part about this slate because if his minutes are restricted, then yeah, Shai, who's popping up as one of the best plays on the slate, would be someone you want to look at. It is very interesting slate. So just looking at it as well, like Nikola Jokic going against OKC, that is going to be a spectacular play for you guys as well. It gets the best matchup on the slate going against OKC. And I'll touch on that a little bit more here. So looking at DK value, which players have the best projected value? Kevon Looney makes sense. He is someone that like on a slate like this will pop. Okay. Projected to get 23 minutes, makes sense. Cheap price point, kind of a cheap 20 or so fantasy points if he, plays well. Klay Thompson at his price point, someone you can look at for sure. The issue with Klay Thompson is that he is a little bit high owned on this slate. I'll show you guys here. He's going to be the highest owned player on the slate. That's him right there. And I'll touch on that in a second here. Draymond Green going to be popping up as well. Kind of interesting there. KCP popping up. Jokic popping up. Wendell Carter makes sense. I like Michael Porter. Let's see here for FanDuel. Klay Thompson once again. Looney once again. Bobo. Ooh, wow. Yeah, $400 cheaper on FanDuel. That could be something you're looking at. Interesting play there. And then nothing too crazy from there. Everything else is pretty much priced correctly. Let's see if there's any value on Yahoo today. Terrence Ross, maybe. That's not terrible. Almost the minimum price on Yahoo. Jermichael Green, minimum price. Let's see, minutes. 18, not terrible. Just interesting stuff there. Let's check out the ownerships here, and then we'll give you guys kind of a lineup process, and then be getting out of here. All right, so who are the highest projected owned players currently on this small two-game slate? We can see Klay Thompson soaking up a lot of the early ownership. It kind of makes sense at the price point. I actually like the idea of playing Jamal Murray, and I'll show you guys why in a second here. Banchero makes sense. Green makes sense. Wiggins makes sense. It kind of makes sense to load up on Golden State and just kind of get their floor, I don't hate that idea, but I don't love it at the same time. Dort, kind of interesting that he's popping. Weird. Wagner probably priced up a little bit too much, but on a small two-game slate, kind of need to play him. Jalen Suggs is another one of those players that kind of had their minutes capped in his first game back. So if he gets, 30 minutes or so, maybe 35 minutes, he could be someone that pops, especially as price point. The two most important injury situations I think we need to monitor are Giddey and Suggs. If we get news that their minutes are not going to be restricted, then they're pretty strong price point plays. But if we don't get that news, it makes them tough plays. All right, so taking a peek at FanDuel as well, kind of more of the same pretty much. Everyone that was high owned on DraftKings is going to be high owned on FanDuel. That's because there's not an egregious misprice on either slate. Maybe Bruce Brown on FanDuel kind of popping up there, but yeah, nothing too crazy there. So we'll get into the lineup process and then we get out of here for you guys. Just looking at the over and unders real quick, no game particularly that you should be going out of your way to play. And they both had the potential to be blowouts as well. So looking at it, guys, I kind of want a game stack and try to hope to get lucky. So like you could go Curry, priced up on the slate, obviously. What you're hoping for is that like 45 minimum with the upside to go for 64 DK points or so. Against Orlando, is that going to happen? We don't really know. The problem with Orlando is that, like I said, minutes kind of restricted there for Suggs. Did get into a little bit of foul trouble. Had a very poor night shooting as well. If he can get some more minutes and if this game stays close at 5.7, I do think he's someone that should be a strong price point play. Typically when a guy has a bad night shooting, I like to could go back the other way and say, all right, he's not going to have as poor of a bad night shooting and actually could be a strong kind of price point play for you. So Jalen Suggs, not a terrible play. So Klay Thompson kind of soaking up a lot of ownership early. I don't know if you need to eat that chalk. Okay, yes, on a small 2-game slate, you are trying to look for kind of just raw DK points, 25 or so DK points. And can he get that? He certainly can. I don't know. I'm struggling with that, guys. I don't think that's a must play by any means. Jordan Poole can certainly go off on any slate, kind of just a GPP only play. Let's see here. Wiggins, you could play as well. Wiggins, it's the tough part about the Golden State Warriors is that any night, any one of them can go off, and it's the ultimate guessing game. And on a small 2-game slate, you kind of need to play a couple of them to try to make a really strong build. But like more likely than not, you're going to have some terrible builds by doing that as well. It's just kind of the nature of them right now. Now, Wagner, I don't mind. Once again, trying to hope to get lucky. Not a safe play at this price point. Can he go for 35 DK points? He can. Okay, and actually, you look at his bad games thus far this season, it's when he had to be like the point forward. So with Jalen Suggs back, he actually was solid. Okay, like the first few games was solid with an actual point guard there, and we saw that last game as well. With a point guard back, it was actually pretty solid. So I don't know, maybe that's something that helps him. Kind of just interesting there. So he could be someone you're looking at. I think if the game does stay close and doesn't really blow out, he's going to be a big reason as to why. It's going to be interesting to see if Bobo's minutes continue to be there. If they do, 30 or so minutes, once again, we will take that. He's been a strong point per minute player at this price point. We would certainly take 30 or so DK points as well. So he is someone GPP-wise I think you can get away with playing. Banchero, if you guys want to play him, you can. Kind of due for a bounce back game. The last 2 games have not been good for him DFS-wise. Still been able to score 18 and 15 actual points, but at the same time, we need a more productive game from him. And then if the game does potentially blow up, maybe, we're looking for some players that typically don't get minutes that could. Strong point per minute player here. We did see Draymond Green kind of getting a lot of ownership as well. I think that's just because people want like 25 DK points out of him, and that's probably what they're going to get. Obviously at 6K, that's a little bit too high priced. And then Wendell Carter actually in a great spot tonight. The last 2 games, he's been in great spots against OKC, a matchup you want to be targeting. And now this game as well. Now he's priced up that way. Okay. And that's the worry once again, is that we're paying up for some plays that probably won't hit value. That's the issue. This is a slate in which I worry a lot of my builds are not going to have the flame. As long as they don't have that icicle on it, we're fine. Wendell Carter should be a good play. I don't want to say great play, but should be a play that gets you around 35 DK points or so, given the matchup. If the game stays close, he's going to be a big reason as to why it stays close. So you could play him at center. It's tough. Now let's get into the other game. I actually like this game a little bit better because, well, we've seen these 2 teams play before prior. So that is something that encourages me. So looking at it, Shai went for 42 DK points against Denver earlier this year. Been a solid player this whole season. With Giddey back, do you need to pay up for him? I don't think so. If Giddey's minutes aren't restricted, like I said, they were restricted, and then he kind of had a poor night shooting on top of that as well. He is someone that I think could easily go for 35 DK points tonight, especially if he does get 5 more minutes or so and actually does make some shots. Just the poor night shooting in his first night back, kind of not shocking. You look what he did against Denver last time out though, guys. 49 DK points. Okay, and that was 8 more minutes. That's intriguing to me. I like that. And we see last game, didn't have that many rebounds. Now he did have 10 assists, which helped, but interesting stuff there. I think he can be a strong kind of lower owned play on the slate. Jamal Murray does make a lot of sense. Could be a cheap 35 DK points. He did go for 30 against them earlier on this season. We've seen him be a little bit more consistent as of recent. Minutes were capped against Utah. Then last night, or 2 nights ago, way more than 2 nights ago, on the 30th, was able to go for 34 DK points. So he is someone that you can certainly look at on the slate. Price point wise, he should be one of the better price point plays on the slate. Like I said, KCP was popping up there. Kind of the same thing. I think people are just searching for some raw points there. So yeah, he's someone I think you can play. You can get away with playing. Dort, I don't know. I struggle with Dort. I feel like he's priced up a little bit too much. Aaron Gordon could be someone you're looking at to get you around 25 DK points. Did struggle. No, he didn't. Against OKC earlier this year, did pretty well. 31 DK points. So let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of his last 5 games, guys, have been very productive nights. And the only one that wasn't was a blowout. Pretty intriguing play at that price point. I would say Michael Porter Jr. as well, for just kind of looking for those raw points. Could be a strong price point play. Since he's been back, been pretty productive. His lowest DK night was 26. And I kind of just think, given the nature of the slate, he is someone I like a lot. Just locking in, 25 to the upside of maybe 40 DK points. Against OKC earlier this year, went for 36 DK points. I kind of like just going and stacking this game the most because I think it gives you the best chance to have a nice floor in your build. Bruce Brown's someone that's drawing some ownership. We'll see. I can't say this guy's name just yet. I apologize, but he was popping up last game, went for 38 DK points. I think a play that helped some people out a lot. It was popping up as a value play. If the minutes are there again, let's just say 25 to 30 minutes, 4.6, that's a cheap price point. He's someone that could go off at a lower ownership than he should be. And then lastly, I don't really know if I need to touch on this, but yes, Jokic is the top play on the slate, gets the best matchup on the slate. Last time he played OKC, had 66 DK points. I do think we're going to need to find a way to fit him into our builds, and that's going to be the biggest obstacle on this slate, is trying to fit Jokic into our builds, okay? And I don't really have strong pivot just yet. That's something I'm going to have to figure out as the night goes on. Maybe you get some value that opens up on this slate. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this coverage. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps us be able to produce some more NBA DFS content for you guys. If you guys want to use any of the tools that you saw in this video, click the link in the description below. All right, thanks for watching, and good luck tonight.